Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. We have completed the first 12 chapters of Antya lila of Caitanya-caritamrita. So we'll begin from the 13th chapter and complete CC today. So we'll complete our Caitanya Pravaha course on this auspicious day of Jagannath Rath Yatra. So in these few chapters, we don't have so much of content that we can discuss very elaborately because most of these chapters are talking about Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's deep ecstasies in separation from Krishna in the mode of Srimati Radharani. So, but nevertheless, there are some very nice episodes. Mahaprabhu's interactions with Jagadananda Pandit, then Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and few other devotees. So we will see that. So let's begin with 13th chapter. Krishna vichcheda jatarya kshine chapi manastanu dadhate fullatam bhavair yasya tam gauram ashraye. Krishna vichcheda jatartya. Arti means distress, anxiety, which is born out of Krishna vichcheda. Krishna vichcheda means separation from Krishna. So Mahaprabhu, during his last 12 years of his stay in Jagannath Puri or his manifest pastimes, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was constantly absorbed in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he was in arti or distress in separation from Krishna. Krishna vichcheda jata artya. So at that time, kshine chapi manastanu, his mind is anxious, his tanu means his body has become very emaciated. He was not eating properly, he was not sleeping properly, he was looking very thin, very lean. So Jagadananda Pandit became extremely anxious. Now Mahaprabhu's body is becoming thin. What does that mean? It's not that somebody is not eating food and he becomes emaciated. Mahaprabhu's body is also like that. Mahaprabhu is directly Krishna and he has a spiritual body. So these bodily transformations of Mahaprabhu are becoming thin and his limbs getting elongated and his whole body becomes like a sack of bones, right? And his joints become loose. So all these are basically Mahaprabhu's ecstatic spiritual transformations of his body in love for Krishna. So Jagadananda Pandit became very anxious and then he made a quilt and a pillow for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to lie on. But Mahaprabhu did not accept any of them because he felt that I'm a sannyasi. Why should I use all these facilities? Right? I'm not supposed to be using this pillow and all that. So then Jagadananda Pandit made another bed with banana leaves. Right? He just took banana leaves, old banana leaves, dried up banana leaves, and then with his own nails, he just made them into shreds, and then he put it in some cloth and made a special bed, right? So banana leaves bed. So Mahaprabhu is hesitant to even accept that also, right? But finally, Sarvadamodar Goswami pushed him, Jagadananda Pandit pushed him. Finally, Mahaprabhu accepted that little bed. Then, and actually Mahaprabhu becomes angry. Just get a proper bedstead only, proper cot for me. Okay, why are you giving these small things? Basically, Mahaprabhu was against using this because he wanted to enunciate the principles of sannyasa. Then Mahaprabhu gives permission to Jagadananda Pandit to go to Vrindavan. Because Jagadananda Pandit was longing to go to Vrindavan and he has been requesting Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu several times. So Jagadananda Pandit has made this bed and Mahaprabhu did not accept. Jagadananda Pandit, naturally he got disappointed, he became angry. So Mahaprabhu is saying that Jagadananda Pandit, you wanted to go to Vrindavan because you are angry with me. If you are going to Vrindavan out of anger for me, you will merely become a beggar there and you will blaspheme me. Then Jagadananda Pandit says, my dear Lord, please don't misunderstand me like that. My going to Vrindavan and my anger upon you, they have no relationship. So it's not that I'm wanting to go to Vrindavan just because I'm angry with you. I want to go to Vrindavan because I have a natural desire. I'm longing to see Vrindavan since a long time. So please understand this. Please don't misunderstand me. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, finally he agreed. Sarvadamodar Goswami also recommended, dear Lord, please allow Jagadananda Pandit to go to Vrindavan. He is not angry with you, but he wants to see. So Mahaprabhu finally allowed Jagadananda Pandit to go to Vrindavan, and he gave 7 instructions to him. So you should, beyond Varanasi, you should travel with Kshatriyas, in the company of Kshatriyas, because there are so many thieves and rogues, they may trouble you, trouble travelers. You should be under some protection. Second, in Vrindavan or Mathura, you should remain in the association of Sanatana Goswami only. Third, you should not mix freely with other residents of Mathura. Fourth, don't leave Sanatana Goswami's association even for a moment. Next, remain in Vrindavan only for a short time. Please come back as early as possible. Don't stay for a long time there. And don't climb Govardhan Hill to see Gopal deity. Okay? So there are various instructions that Mahaprabhu gave. So finally, Jagadananda Pandit very happily went to Vrindavan with Mahaprabhu's permission. And Sanatana Goswami received him with great love and affection. And he showed him all places in Vrindavan. And so like that, and Jagadananda Pandit would cook for himself. And Sanatana Goswami would beg and provide him the ingredients. So like that, these two exalted souls, dear devotees of Lord Caitanya, stayed together for a while. So one day, Sanatana Goswami appeared in front of Jagadananda Pandit with some cloth. So he was wearing a cloth that was given by Mukunda Saraswati. So Jagadananda Pandit thought that, my God, you are wearing such a beautiful cloth. Whose cloth is that? Whose cloth is that? Is it Mahaprabhu's? Then he said, Mukunda Saraswati has given me this cloth. Then Jagadananda Pandit became so furious. He said that you are a devotee of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has very high regards for you. And you are wearing someone else's cloth, right? So then he even just picked up a vessel to hit Sanatana Goswami out of anger. But Sanatana Goswami felt very embarrassed and ashamed. And then Jagadananda Pandit also felt a little bad. But Sanatana Goswami reassured him, thank you so much, Jagadananda Pandit. Now I am able to see the special love, the deep love that you have for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is so much there within your heart. That's why you are getting upset when I am apparently not showing some obedience or whatever alignment towards Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu wearing someone else's cloth. So actually, Jagadananda Pandit is little angry by nature. And when Sanatana Goswami came to Jagannath Puri, Jagadananda Pandit told him, you have stayed here for sufficient time. You can go back to Vrindavan now. Mahaprabhu gave you that place, Prabhudatta Desha. You can go back there. Because Sanatana Goswami was feeling embarrassed. So, but Mahaprabhu chastised Jagadananda Pandit. Who is he to tell you? You are in the level of my advisor. You know the whole story. We discussed in initial chapters. So now this Sanatana Goswami says, my purpose in binding my head with this cloth has now been fulfilled because I have personally seen your uncommon love for Mahaprabhu. So then Jagadananda Pandit stayed there for some time. He saw all places. Then he came back to Jagannath Puri. So he came back to Jagannath Puri with 4 special items. Number 1, some sand from the place where Krishna performed Rasa Lila. Secondly, a stone from Govardhan Hill. Third, some pilu fruits. And fourth, one Gunjamala. So these are the 4 items that he brought and showed to all the devotees. So that's a small episode in this chapter. And in the next section of this chapter, we see that once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu heard the singing of Gita Govinda, one lady, one Devadasi, she was very nicely, beautifully singing with a very sweet voice about Gita Govinda for the pleasure of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu became so attracted by that song. So out of his divine spiritual ecstasy, Mahaprabhu was running towards the place where the sound was coming from. So he was almost reaching that Devadasi, but as he was almost reaching, then Govinda was running behind him. Somehow Govinda managed to run fast and somehow reach Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Says, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, that's a woman singing. Then Mahaprabhu came back to his external consciousness. Oh my God, I'm a sannyasi, you have protected me, you have saved my life. What would have happened if I had touched that woman? So as a sannyasi, he wants to keep that distance. Right? Then another episode in this chapter, Radhanath Bhatta Goswami is meeting with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Radhanath Bhatta was the son of Tapan Mishra, who used to stay in Varanasi. So once he came to Jagannath Puri via Bengal. So on the way, he met another person named Ramadas Vishwas. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra. So this Ramadas Vishwas performed so many services to Radhanath Bhatta. He was carrying his luggage, he was even massaging him. So Radhanath Bhatta traveled with him and he came to Puri. So when Radhanath Bhatta came to Jagannath Puri and met Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu very warmly welcomed Radhanath Bhatta Goswami, and Radhanath Bhatta Goswami stayed for 8 months in the association of Lord Caitanya and Jagannath. Now, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not show much of attention to Ramadas Vishwas. The reason is, although he was chanting the holy names of Ram, still internally he was wanting to become one with Ram. So inherently he was a Mayavadi in that sense, right? He was an impersonalist kind of person. So Mahaprabhu did not show much attention to him. So Radhanath Bhatta continued to stay with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu for 8 months, and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave 4 instructions to Radhanath Bhatta Goswami. He says, don't enter family life, means don't marry, and serve your parents, old parents nicely. I mean, Tapan Mishra and his wife, you should serve them. And you should also study Srimad Bhagavatam under a pure Vaishnava. And you come back again. So you come back to Puri again. There are 4 instructions that Mahaprabhu gave to Radhanath Bhatta Goswami. Then, after the death of his parents, Radhanath Bhatta Goswami again came back to Puri and stayed for 8 more months in Puri in Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's association. Then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave him another 3 instructions. He says, you should go to Vrindavan and live there under the care of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Second, you should chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day, means always. Third, you should read Bhagavatam continuously. Bhagavata pada sada laha Krishna nam achire karibena kripa Krishna Bhagavan. So, read Bhagavatam and chant Hare Krishna. Then Krishna will definitely give you mercy. Okay. So, further instructions he has given. Gramya, one more thing. He gave these instructions, and Radhanath Bhatta Goswami went to Vrindavan and he associated with Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And also, Kaviraj Goswami describes the wonderful character of Radhanath Bhatta Goswami. Gramya Vartana Sunibena Kahe Jihvaya Krishna Katha Puja Dite Ashta Praharaya Vaishnavera Ninge Karma Nahi Pade Kani Sabe Krishna Bhajana Kare Ye Matra Jani. So Gramya Varta Nasuni. So don't hear any gossip. Don't get into prajalpa. Useless conversations you should not put your head into. Na kahe jihvaya. And you should also not speak any nonsense like that. Krishna Katha Puja Dite Ashta Praharaya. You should also do Krishna Katha and Krishna Puja at different times in a day. Then Vaishnava Ninda Karma means Radhanath Bhatta Goswami was not doing all these things. He was not doing any gossip, no prajalpa, no hearing of prajalpa, no speaking of prajalpa. And then he is constantly worshipping Krishna and doing Krishna Katha. And Vaishnavera Ninda Karma Nahi Pade Kani. So he would not even hear the blasphemy of Vaishnavas. Sabha Krishna bhajana kare yehi matra jane. He understands that everybody is rendering service to Krishna to their capacity, whatever they can manage, right? So that's the mood. So actually, to restrain from criticism of Vaishnavas is a very, very important quality. So Radhanath Bhatta Goswami, then he ordered his disciples to construct a temple for Govinda, and he prepared various ornaments for Govinda, and also a very nice flute for Govinda, and some shark-shaped earrings. So, and he developed Krishna Prema and manifested ecstatic symptoms of love by the mercy of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, 14th chapter. So, 14th chapter describes Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation from Krishna, very esoteric content. Prabhu virahonmada bhavagam bhira bhujite na pare kahe keha yadyapi haya dhira. So, Mahaprabhu's viraha unmada, viraha means separation, unmada means madness. So Mahaprabhu's madness of separation from Krishna and bhava gambhira, his grave emotions or mood, it's very difficult for ordinary people to understand. Okay, so and Kaviraj Goswami is writing all these ecstatic symptoms of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu from the diaries of Swarupa Damodar Goswami and Radhanath Das Goswami. They used to write something about Mahaprabhu's ecstatic pastimes. So Kaviraj Goswami took reference from that. So one should hear these pastimes with full faith. Sometimes these pastimes are very esoteric and we may not be able to keep full faith. But Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is so absorbed in these pastimes and we should hear them with faith. And Mahaprabhu was constantly experiencing feelings of separation from Krishna like that of the gopis and especially Radharani. Especially when Lord Caitanya, when Krishna left Mathura. So that has been the subject matter of his contemplation in these 12 years. So once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw Krishna in his dream, and also Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu when he went to this temple of Jagannath, he was taking darshan from Garuda Stambha as usual. So as he was taking darshan, he was so absorbed. One old lady came, Orissa woman, came there and she climbed the shoulders of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and from there she was seeing Jagannath. Because she was unable to have a proper darshan. But many people were there, so much of crowd, she was unable to get proper darshan. So she climbed on the shoulder of Mahaprabhu and she was seeing darshan. So then Govinda noticed it. So Govinda became very anxious and then he was kind of pushing her, right? What are you doing? Just get down now. Then she is a very innocent lady and then she came down and she begged forgiveness. But Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu immediately chastised Govinda. You are Adivasi, you are behaving like an uncivilized person. What are you doing? She has so much of eagerness and enthusiasm to take darshan of the Lord. If only I have an iota of some eagerness that she had, I would have gone to Krishna. So Mahaprabhu was comparing himself with that woman, Orissa woman, and he's saying that she has more devotion than me out of his humility. And another time, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to his, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was seeing Lord Jagannath and he saw Jagannath ji as as Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna in a threefold bending form playing his flute. Jagannath ji is in a different attire, different bodily form. His hands went inside, his legs went inside and his eyes became so big. So he was not like regular Krishna. But Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Jagannath and he could see Krishna in a threefold bending form out of his ecstasy. So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu then described his feelings of separation from Krishna to Ramananda Rai. So he was exhibiting 10 types of transformations in his body, and then Mahaprabhu just loses external consciousness, and Ramananda Rai would sing shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam, and Swarup Damodar Goswami sings other songs of Krishna's pastimes from Chandidasa's works, and also Jayadev Goswami's works. So like that he describes songs of Radha and Krishna to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu would hear these songs. Mahaprabhu would hear these Bhagavatam shlokas. And Ramanandara and Swarup Damodar Goswami are so expert in selecting the most essential and important shlokas and songs that suit Mahaprabhu's mood. So this is how they always assisted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in experiencing the emotions of Srimati Radha. Right? So unable to find, and sometimes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes so unconscious, and he would just go to Simhadwar and then he falls down unconscious. So Mahaprabhu was in Gambhira room, and the 3 doors of the Gambhira room were locked. Still, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could somehow come out of that room and go to Jagannath Puri temple, and he would just fall down there unconscious. So then devotees would search for him everywhere, and finally he find Mahaprabhu lying at Simhadwar without any external consciousness, and foam is coming from his mouth, and devotees will just wipe it up and then wipe his perspiration, and then throw some water on him, and then somehow try to bring him to external consciousness by chanting Krishna's name so loudly. Okay. So in external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran towards Chataka Parvata that we have seen, because he sees Chataka Parvata and he remembers Govardhan, and he chants Antaya Madrirabala, Antaya Madrirabala Haridasa Varya Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayorya Pani Yasuya Vasakam Darakandamuli. So by chanting this shloka, Mahaprabhu runs behind Chataka Parvata. All the other devotees were running behind him. Nobody could catch up with Mahaprabhu. But finally devotees come, and Mahaprabhu falls unconscious. And in his meditation, he goes to Govardhan, and he sees all the pastimes of Krishna at Govardhan, and the gopis were plucking flowers, and Krishna is coming and teasing them. So, and all the devotees started loudly chanting the holy names of Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu comes to his external consciousness, and he describes all the pastimes that he has witnessed in his dream, in his meditation. So I saw gopis, I saw Krishna, I saw the gopis plucking flowers, and I saw several pastimes of Krishna within the caves of Govardhan. And as I was witnessing them, you did this loud sankirtan and brought me to external consciousness. So Mahaprabhu again feels so bad that he came out of his trance, and then he comes to his full external consciousness, and then he goes back home, and he takes bath in the sea. That is 14th chapter. Then 15th chapter, further transcendental madness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here Kaviraj Goswami describes that the 5 senses of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all 5 senses, were attracted by the 5 attributes of Krishna. So now Mahaprabhu's eyes were attracted by Krishna's beauty. Mahaprabhu's ears were attracted by Krishna's jovial words. And Mahaprabhu's touch was attracted by Krishna's cool body. Mahaprabhu's nose was attracted by the fragrance coming from Krishna's body. And Mahaprabhu's sense of taste was attracted by Krishna's lips. So like that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's 5 senses are like 5 horses that are going in different directions. He's constantly being attracted by Krishna's different features. Actually, these are experiences of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani cannot control herself when she remembers Krishna. All her 5 senses are completely captivated by Lord Krishna's different attributes. Her eyes are captivated by Krishna's beauty and so on. So, to pacify Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai started reciting several pastimes and songs from Bhagavatam and other places. So once Mahaprabhu saw a garden and he thought that this garden is Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu started searching for Krishna in that garden, and he started inquiring from all the trees and animals there in the garden. Where is Krishna? Did you see Krishna? Basically, Mahaprabhu went into the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan in the midst of Rasalila. So in the Rasalila, we see that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the gopis of Vrindavan dance with Krishna for some time, and each gopi started feeling special. Oh, I am so special. I got this special privilege that I am dancing with Krishna now. Then, seeing that slight tinge of pride in them, which is, of course, a very, very exalted, elevated spiritual feeling only, but Krishna disappeared from the scene. Then all the gopis started searching for Krishna everywhere in forest. So the gopis would ask ask the trees. Okay, so trees are considered male. So, but the trees did not reply because they are friends of Krishna. They are all men. And the gopis started asking some plants and creepers. They are like females. But these plants and creepers are the maid servants of Krishna. So out of fear, they also did not speak. And the gopis asked she deer. So the she deer are also in separation from Krishna. So they could not even hear what gopis are asking. And then the gopis asked some trees who were bending to the ground. They are in separation. How can they answer? So then finally, the gopis could see Krishna on the banks of Yamuna when Krishna came back to their company. So in this way, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was visualizing all these events in the mood of gopis. He assumed himself as gopi only. So he adopted the mood of gopis and he was searching for Krishna everywhere. Then all this was happening in his trance. And all the devotees started chanting loudly and brought him to external consciousness. And again, Mahaprabhu started describing all these events that he has experienced in his dream to other devotees. Okay. So now Mahaprabhu starts describing. So Lord Krishna conquers the gopis with his different features. And being requested by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarupa Goswami started singing from Gita Govinda. So Mahaprabhu describes all the experiences of gopis, how they saw Krishna's beauty. There is the shloka in Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu says that also in one of these chapters. He says, Gopya tapah kimacharan yadamushya rupam lavanya saramasamo ardhamananya siddham drigbhih pivantya nusava bhinavam durapam ekanta dhama yashasha shriya aishwarasya. So here you see the gopis see 6 aspects of Krishna's beauty. Gopyaha tapaha kimacharan yadamushya rupam. What great austerities do the gopis do to be able to see this beautiful form of Krishna? What is the speciality of this form? Number 1, lavanya saram. Krishna's form is the essence of all loveliness. Lavanya saram asamordhvam. There is no other form superior to Krishna's form. Ananya siddham. Krishna received this beauty from nowhere. It's innate in him. Ananya siddham. He's not getting this beauty from somewhere else. Ananya siddham drigbhihi pivanti anusava abhinavam durapam. Means if you drink the nectar of Krishna's beauty with your eyes, that beauty appears near and near. Durapam, very rarely attainable. Then ekanta dhama yashasha shriya aishwarasya. 6th aspect is Krishna's form is the one and only abode of all opulences, including beauty, wealth, and other opulences. So Mahaprabhu was narrating all this and he was elaborately explaining these shlokas. And then Swarupa Goswami started singing many other songs, and the devotees also chanted holy names. So now 16th chapter. Mahaprabhu tastes the nectar from the lips of Krishna. So Vande Sri Krishna Caitanya Krishna Bhava Amritam Hiyah Asvadya Svadayan Bhakta Prema Diksham Asikshayat. Vande Sri Krishna Caitanyam. Offer my obeisances to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Bhavamritam Hiyah. And he is absorbed in Krishna Bhava, which is like nectar, Amritam. Asvadya aswadayan. So he's personally relishing that nectar, and he's also making others relish that nectar. So he is personally Krishna conscious, thoroughly Krishna conscious, and she's inducing other people also to become Krishna conscious. So Prema Dikshama Shiksha. Next. Next, pastimes of Kalidas are described in this chapter. So Kalidas was one of the devotees who came from Bengal to Jagannath. So this Kalidas was a Bengal devotee, but he stayed in Jagannath Puri during that monsoon. And this Kalidas has a very special and unique quality. Quality is that he has great faith in the remnants of Vaishnavas. Okay, so he would personally distribute prasadam to devotees, and he would accept their remnants, and he would eat their remnants. So once this Kalidas gave some mangoes to Jadu Thakur, and then he started eating that mangoes. Jadu Thakur ate that mangoes, and the peel and some seed were just thrown away. Then Kalidas went in and started sucking the peel and seed. So like that, he had great faith. And in this discussion between Kalidas and Jadu Thakur, there are very, very nice pastimes and nice shlokas in their conversation. The greatness of Vaishnavas and the glory of eating Vaishnava Uchishta, all these are mentioned there. So next, Kalidas received mercy from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also. Once, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's general habit is that he, before going to Jagannath Puri temple, he would just wash his feet at one place. Okay. So Kalidas went there. As Mahaprabhu was washing his feet, he just took that wash water in his hands and drank. Again he took, again he drank. Like that he's repeatedly doing. So Mahaprabhu allowed it. And then Mahaprabhu became little strict and said, enough. Enough, we have done enough, so please stop it. Okay. So Kalidas has great faith. Bhakta pada dhuliyara bhakta pada jala. Bhakta bhukta avasesha tina mahabala. So bhakta pada dhuli means the dust from the lotus feet of devotees. Ara bhakta pada jala means the water that washed the lotus feet of devotees. And bhakta bhukta avasesha, and the remnants of the food remnants of a devotee. Tina Mahabala. So all these three must be accepted without any hesitation. And Mahabala, they give us great strength in our spiritual practices. Okay. So next, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu blesses Puridas, the third son of Shivananda says. So this Puridas will later become Kavikarnapura. So Mahaprabhu, although the boy was only 7 years old and still had no education, he composed such a nice shloka describing Mahaprabhu's mercy, and Mahaprabhu was so happy and everyone wondered. So then, being requested by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, once a gatekeeper, so Mahaprabhu basically goes to Jagannath Puri temple, and then he sees a gatekeeper there. Mahaprabhu goes to the gatekeeper. Did you see Krishna? Where is Krishna? So he just expresses all his loving feelings for Krishna in front of this gatekeeper, and he expresses intense separation from Krishna also. Then the gatekeeper, and he says, please show me Krishna, please show me Krishna. Then the gatekeeper takes Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to in front of this Jagannath deities, and then he shows. So here is Jagannath, here is the Krishna that he wanted. So then Mahaprabhu sees that beautiful form of Krishna as Nandanandana, as the son of Nanda Maharaj, and Mahaprabhu becomes so happy. So another time, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu exhibits ecstatic symptoms by tasting Jagannath's remnants after Gopala Vallabha Bhoga. So now, this prasadam that he received was tasted by Krishna. So the nectar of the lips of Krishna is present within this Mahaprasadam, and Mahaprabhu tasted that. So Mahaprabhu felt so ecstatic. and he started elaborately describing the glories of Krishna Mahaprasadam to all the devotees. This prasadam is mixed with the nectar from Krishna's lips. So the lips of Krishna tasted this Mahaprasadam. So all the devotees experienced transcendental bliss by tasting Jagannath Mahaprasadam, while parallelly hearing Mahaprabhu's description. Now you see, we may eat prasadam every time, but when some devotees, sometimes when we hear the description of the glories of Mahaprasadam from some exalted devotee, we value that Mahaprasadam. Okay, so that's why we may take darshan of the deities, we may take prasadam, we may honor garlands of the deities, or we may water tulasi. So several simple devotional activities that we do every day. Once in a while, we should also hear the importance of these activities, the glory of these activities, so that we can do all of them in a proper mood and right consciousness and understanding their divinity. Right. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his devotees, glorified the nectar of Krishna's lips. Then 17th chapter of Antya lila. So further bodily transformations of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu were described here. So these chapters are very esoteric and it's all purely ecstasy. So once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu left his Gambhira room and he went to the cow shed. Actually, devotees were searching. Mahaprabhu doesn't know where he is going because he was in ecstasy. So devotees were searching for him everywhere, and finally they found Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in a cow shed, in a goshala. And all the cows were surrounding Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was just lying down there in ecstasy, in trance. So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited ecstasy, and he showed some bodily transformations like that of a tortoise. Means all his limbs were withdrawn. Okay, so at some time Mahaprabhu withdraws all his limbs within himself. Like Jagannath are like a tortoise, and sometimes his limbs get totally elongated. All this, the flesh, these joints are not so stiff like this. So the joints become disconnected and they loosely hang. This bone and this bone will just loosely hang. Right? This joint is not there. So like that, Mahaprabhu's whole body becomes like a sack of bones. It's totally elongated and are contracted. So these are all very deep symptoms of ecstasy, physical manifestation of internal ecstasy. Right? So then devotees were worried. They chanted the holy names and brought Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to his external consciousness. And after coming to external consciousness, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu explains the dream that he has seen. So Mahaprabhu says that, so Lord Krishna brought Radharani to a bower by playing his flute. And he expressed his dissatisfaction for they brought him to external consciousness. Mahaprabhu. So I just saw Radha and Krishna coming together to a bush, and they were having such ecstatic pastimes, and I was able to witness all of those pastimes. And you have brought me to external consciousness. Here you see Mahaprabhu, in this picture only you can see Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, seeing Radha Krishna pastimes well, along with other gopis. Now he is a sannyasi and he is seeing the conjugal affairs. So what does that mean? Mahaprabhu was even hesitant even to go to the Devadasi when she was singing Gita Govinda. So he felt protected when Govinda stopped him from proceeding further towards the Devadasi. So he's so strict, he doesn't interact with women, but he is seeing all the loving exchanges between Radha and Krishna. That's a proof that the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are not manifestations of lust, they are on a pure spiritual plane. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriter Haladini Shakti Rasmat. So they are all manifestations of Haladini Shakti, means the pleasure potency, the internal potency of Krishna. Right? So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu recited them shlokas and explained the meaning of some shlokas to all his devotees. And these shlokas are glorifying Lord Krishna's beauty in various ways. You can go through those shlokas, very nice shlokas. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami humbly glorifies the uncommon activities of Lord Caitanya, how Mahaprabhu manifested prema to the extreme limit. Adbhuta nigudha premera madhurya mahima apani aswadi prabhu dekhaila sima. So Adbhuta nigudha prema madhurya mahima. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's prema is nigudha, very confidential, very deep, and he understands madhurya mahima. Apani aswadi prabhu dekhaila sima. By personally relishing the conjugal affairs of Krishna and the gopis, he is glorifying them. Basically, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance itself is a testimony for the greatness of the gopis' love for Krishna. So gopis are the topmost devotees of Krishna. Ramya kachidupasana vrajavadhu vargyanaya kalpita. So all the gopis of Vrindavan are the topmost devotees of Krishna. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna descended in the form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to glorify the position of gopis of Vrindavan. Right? So these are the topmost and most exalted Vaishnavas. So Mahaprabhu came as Bhakta Rupa, means in the form of a devotee. So in the form of devotee, but in whose mood? The mood of the topmost devotee, that is the gopis of Vrindavan. And amongst them also the topmost devotees, Srimati Radharani. So in Vrindavan, in the midst of Rasa Lila, Lord Krishna tells the gopis that Naparayeham niravadya samyujam. So even if you give me one full lifetime of Brahma to repay the debt that I owe you, I don't have the capacity to repay. Generally, when you take a loan from somebody, so some kind of time is set. Okay, in 1 year, I'll clear this loan. EMI, easy monthly installment is this much. Okay, or in 5 years, I will clear this loan. In 8 years, I will clear this loan. And this is the interest. So something is set. So when you take something from somebody, you repay them in certain amount of time. But if you go to somebody and says, I want 1 crore rupees from you, and he will ask, when will you repay? You just, I don't know, when will I repay? How much time you want? 1 year, 2 years? I don't know. Maybe full lifetime. Maybe next lifetime I will repay you. Will anybody give you? But here Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna tells the gopis, even if you give me 1 full lifetime of Brahma to repay the debt that I have for you, I cannot repay. So Krishna feels completely bankrupt in reciprocating with the love and affection of the gopis, the genuine service attitude that the gopis have manifested. Okay, so Krishna feels bankrupt. I don't have a bank balance. Right? How can I repay them? So he says, you please be satisfied with your own love for me, with your own service attitude. I don't have the capacity to reciprocate. So to glorify the position of those gopis of Vrindavan, Lord Krishna appeared in the form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu's incarnation itself is a great testimonial for the glory of the gopis of Vrindavan. That's one of the first confidential reasons. Sri Radhaya pranaya mahima kidrusho vanayeva. So what is the pranaya mahima of Sri Radha? So Mahaprabhu wanted to establish that. Adbhuta dayalu chaitanya adbhuta vadanya aichhe dayalu data loke nahi suni anya. So Lord Caitanya is not only experiencing this ecstasy of gopis, he is also bestowing that ecstasy of gopis to everybody. He is giving Krishna prema in the mode of gopis, conjugal love. So anarpita charim charat karunaya avatirnaha kalau samarpayitum unnata ujjvala rasam svabhaktishya. Okay. So Adbhuta Dayalu Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu is extremely merciful, compassionate. Adbhuta Vadanya is most benevolent. Aicha Dayalu Data Loke Nahi Suni Anya. You can't find any other person who is as Dayalu and as charitable as him. He's compassionate, he's charitable, both. And you can't find anyone else like him. Sarva Bhave Bhajaloka Caitanya-caritamrita. Yahaite paiba Krishna premamrita dhana. So Sarva Bhave Bhaja Loka. Chaitanya Charanam. So, Kaviraj Goswami is instructing or requesting all of us, so please worship the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Yahaite payave Krishna premamrita dhana. By doing so, you can attain the nectarian treasure of Krishna. That's the 17th chapter. No, 18th chapter. So 18th chapter describes how Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu jumps into sea. So now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes during the bright moon of Sharad season, Sharad Rutu, right? Sharad Purnimadi, Rasalila has happened. So he wanders into the garden and he sings the glories of Krishna's Rasalila. So now, if Krishna himself cannot estimate the emotions of his devotees, how could others estimate? So here, all the gopis are experiencing some ecstasy on the Rasalila day, because one, they are anticipating union with Krishna, meeting with Krishna. Second, they met Krishna. Third, they lost Krishna's association and they felt intense feelings of separation from Krishna. Then fourth, they again reunited with Krishna and they danced with Krishna. So, in all these things, the gopis were experiencing so much of love for Krishna, but even Krishna could not figure out. Krishna could not understand the greatness of this love. So now that Krishna came in the mood of those gopis to actually experience what they are experiencing. Right? That's what Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is doing in the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes. Okay. So if Krishna himself could not estimate the glories of his devotees, how could others? If Krishna himself could not estimate, how can you and me understand the glory of the gopis of Vrindavan? And Kaviraj Goswami says, as the wind can carry away but a drop of water in the ocean, a living entity can touch only a particle of the ocean of love of Krishna. So now I am purifying myself by touching one drop of that great ocean, Kaviraj Goswami says. Okay. And Kaviraj Goswami describes the next pastime. So once Mahaprabhu saw the ocean, and then he thought that it's Yamuna, it's blue Yamuna. He just jumped into the ocean. So generally Mahaprabhu is lost in some garden, or he goes to Goshala, he goes to Simhadwar. So when Mahaprabhu is missing, all the devotees will search throughout Jagannath Puri, and in some corner Mahaprabhu is visible. But now he jumped into the sea. So devotees search on land, they don't search inside the sea, right? So they don't know where Mahaprabhu went. They were searching everywhere. So everyone was totally overwhelmed with moroseness and feelings of separation. And they were searching throughout the night. They could not find. So although they could not find, they continued searching out of deep love for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So then finally, they concluded that maybe Mahaprabhu is no more. Maybe Mahaprabhu has disappeared from this planet. They are unable to find him anywhere. They searched everywhere, up to Bhuvaneshwar somewhere. So they were searching everywhere. Then finally, Swarup Damodar Goswami and few of his associates, they saw one fisherman. And this fisherman was in a different mood only. He was just laughing, crying, jumping up and down, and he was doing all kinds of quote-unquote crazy activities. Swarup Damodar Goswami went towards him. And all the devotees also got some hint what happened. Swarup Damodar Goswami could guess that maybe he must have contacted Mahaprabhu. And all his apparent mad activities seem to be activities done in Krishna Prema. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, then Swarup Damodar Goswami went to the fisherman and asked, why are you behaving like this? What happened to you? Then the fisherman said, no, I think I have seen a ghost. Yesterday I caught some ghost. I thought I found a big fish in my net, but somehow I caught a ghost there, and the ghost is making sound. I'm unable to understand what is the sound. And when, as soon as I came in contact with that sound and contact with that ghost, the ghost has entered me. Okay, so then I also started chanting, jumping up and down, and then I was going mad. Then and now I'm going to meet an exorcist. The Swarup Damodar Goswami said, I am an exorcist. I am a tantric. So I can relieve you from the ghost. Right? He just did some magic like this. He just moved his hands and then slapped him like this. And he came to external consciousness. See, ghost is gone, right? Ghost is gone. Yeah, ghost is gone. Nothing is there, but the fisherman says, ghost is gone. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami says that this fisherman become a little sober. Now Swarup Damodar Goswami says, actually, he's not a ghost. He's Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He went into ecstasy. In his ecstasy, he must have jumped into the river, into the sea, and maybe you caught him in your net. That's what I guess. Can you please show where he is? Then this fisherman takes Swarup Damodar Goswami and all these people, all the devotees, to Mahaprabhu's. Mahaprabhu was found there. So Mahaprabhu was caught in that net. His whole body was filled with sand, and he was so elongated. His body was totally transformed in ecstasy. So devotees felt quite pity seeing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu came out and they started chanting the holy names of the Lord very, very loudly. And Mahaprabhu just slowly came to his external consciousness, half external consciousness. And then he started, while being half externally conscious, Mahaprabhu started describing the dream that he has seen. So he saw that, basically he jumped into river, right? He saw river pastimes. So when Mahaprabhu falls at Chataka Parvat, he saw Govardhan pastimes. Right? When Mahaprabhu falls some other place, he sees the pastimes of Krishna in that place. Now Mahaprabhu jumped into water, he saw Krishna's water pastimes. So I saw Krishna entering the water. I saw several gopis also entering the water. So Krishna is looking so beautiful along with all the gopis. So he was doing water pastimes and splashing water on the gopis, and the gopis were also splashing water on Krishna. And later, they all came on the banks of the water, the Yamuna, and then some other gopis were standing on the shore of the lake. They made preparations for sitting, and they also made a lot of elaborate arrangements for eating. So Lord Krishna came out and Radharani is lovingly feeding him, and then he's also feeding. So like that, the fruits and sweets were being offered to Krishna on the banks of the river. I could see all these water sports of Krishna and all the eating pastimes of Krishna. And as I was witnessing them, you just brought me. You brought me to external consciousness. So what is this? So then Swarup Damodar Goswami describes all that has happened. My dear Lord, in your ecstasy, you know what you did? You jumped into the river, you jumped into the sea, and this fisherman caught you in his net. And then we were searching for you everywhere throughout the night, and then finally we found you here. Then Mahaprabhu says, oh, I have given you so much trouble. And then he comes to external consciousness and he goes to Gambhir. So in this way, Mahaprabhu was not at all in his external consciousness while doing all these pastimes. So then 19th chapter. So the inconceivable behavior of Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this chapter we will see that how Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Matru Bhakta Shiromani. Matru means Mata, mother. Bhakta means devotee. Shiromani means the crest jewel. So there are so many sons who rendered service to their mothers in an exemplary manner. They are called Matru Bhaktas. Amongst all those Matru Bhaktas, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the foremost. He is the crest jewel of all devotees of mothers. Okay, so Matru Bhakta Shiromani. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Sachi Mata's house, and he would personally eat all the preparations made by Sachi Mata. And Sachi Mata doesn't understand this, and then she is in trance, and she assumes that, oh, did I cook or not? Did I offer or not? Did I, what happened? Did Krishna eat it? Did Nima eat it? She couldn't understand. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu would send Jagadananda Pandit every year to Bengal to take care of Sachi Mata and to meet all other devotees. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu served his mother even after accepting sannyas. Matru Bhakta Ganera Prabhu Hana Shiromani Sanyasa Kariya Sada Sevena Janani. So Matru Bhakta Ganera Prabhu Ana Siva. So Mahaprabhu is the crest jewel of all devotees of mothers. And after sannyas also, he rendered service to his Janani, his mother. So now Mahaprabhu starts speaking like a madman, Pralapya, talking like a madman. So now, you see, Mahaprabhu is constantly absorbed in this mood of gopis. Two moods. One, when Akrura comes to Vrindavan to take Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, the gopis felt intense separation from Krishna. They were crying in pain. So that is one mood that Mahaprabhu constantly exhibits. Another thing is, when all the gopis saw Krishna and Kurukshetra, okay, then these gopis did not like that at all. Okay, so in Vrindavan, Krishna is like a cowhead boy, but in Kurukshetra, Krishna was like a prince. And in Vrindavan, Krishna wears a simple dhoti and wears a turban, but and wears gunjamala and forest flower garland. But in Kurukshetra, all the gopis saw that Krishna was wearing a big crown and very royal dress and ornaments. And in Vrindavan, Krishna was surrounded by cows and monkeys and peacocks and swans. But in Kurukshetra, Krishna is surrounded by horses and elephants. It's very royal attire. So, so Mahaprabhu sings this shloka that I am that same Radharani, means I am that same girl, and you are that same boy, and this is the same season, and that same fragrance of Malati flowers is coming, but I am not feeling the same ecstasy because we are not in Vrindavan, we are in Kurukshetra. So all the gopis felt that, okay, let's take Krishna to Vrindavan. Okay, they tried to, within their minds only, they tried to pull the chariot of Krishna, Baladev and Subhadra to Vrindavan. And that's the reason why we celebrate Jagannath Rath Yatra, okay, which is today. Today is Jagannath Rath Yatra. And Mahaprabhu is observed in that mood of gopis when they saw Krishna at Kurukshetra. And also he was observed in the mood of gopis when Akrura was taking Krishna. Actually, all the gopis were expecting that some elder would intervene and stop Krishna from going to Mathura. So the previous evening, Akrura came to take Krishna and Balram to Mathura. Now there was a big meeting. Somehow Krishna convinced Nanda Maharaj to make an announcement. Nanda Maharaj, Kamsa is calling all of you to bring taxes, and Kamsa is specifically calling me and Balram also. So we are obliged to go. He's a king. So Nanda Maharaj had doubts. Yashodamata did not have a single word to speak. She was stunned. She was shocked. She could not speak anything. So Nanda Maharaj, because he's king, he has a responsibility. He called all the elders, like Upanand and many other elderly and leaders of the Cowherd community, and arranged for a meeting. And Krishna announced that we should go. Then some people had doubts. Why Krishna should go? We will go and pay taxes and come back. Why Krishna should go? Kamsa called. Then devotees had doubts. Vrajavasis had doubts. But Krishna said that if Kamsa does any mischief there, I will kill him. You have seen me killing Arishtasur. You have seen me killing Keshidima. You have seen me killing Vyomasur, Bakasur, Vatsasur, so many such demons, Aghasur. Then yeah, we have no doubts about your strength, Krishna, because all Vrajavasis somehow believed that Narayana Samo Gunaihi. Krishna has strength which is equivalent to Narayana. Everybody believed like that because Gargamani predicted, right? So Krishna can kill him, not a problem. So they felt confident, okay, fine. So Krishna will go, attend Dhanuryaga and come back soon. Come back in 2 days, okay? And also, if Kamsa does some mischief, Krishna can kill him. They believed. So they agreed, okay? everybody had some confidence, they had some anxiety, but they had confidence that Krishna will come back soon. Nobody suspected that Krishna will stay back in Mathura. But the gopis suspected. Gopis could never trust that Krishna will come back soon. So that whole night, all the gopis gathered at different places in Vrindavan, in small groups. They were discussing amongst themselves that, oh, Krishna, will he come back? Maybe this elder, somebody will intervene. So still it's night only. By the time morning arrives, some elder will get some common sense, some intelligence to intervene and stop Krishna from going to Mathura. This should happen. Otherwise, these elders have gone crazy, it seems. They are not understanding that they are sending their lives away from their bodies by sending Krishna away from Vrindavan. So, because Madhurya Gopis felt that all the other Brajavasis had some reasonable, loving relationship with Krishna, which is well known, nothing secret. Mother Yashoda, Rohini, and all the other elder Gopis of Vrindavan, and Nanda Maharaj and elder Gopas of Vrindavan, they all had Vatsalya affection for Krishna. Whole world knows. The whole world means entire Vrindavan knows. And all the Gopas, younger Gopas, they are like Sri Rama, Sudama, Subal. So all these people definitely are friends of Krishna. Whole Vrindavan knows that. Okay. And Rattaka, Patraka, Chitraka, they are the house servants of Nanda Maharaj. So it's not well known. And the cows, they can openly express their feelings towards Krishna. Like the devotees of Shantarasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa can openly and publicly exhibit their love for Krishna. And it is not everybody. But the Madhurya Gopis of Vrindavan, they are in Parakiya Rasa. Madhurya also, there are two flavors, Swakiya and Parakiya, as we discussed in previous sessions. So Parakiya flavor, unwedded love. So these gopis are daughters or sisters or wives of some other gopas. But they had their secret love and affection for Krishna, which is not well known, or which may be known to some people, but it is not well accepted because of social customs. So the gopis' love for Krishna is always secret. And they always have insecurity that if Krishna leaves, what will happen to us? Actually, their anxiety is not that. If Krishna leaves Vrindavan, what will happen to him? Because no one can render such quality service to Krishna apart from the gopis. If gopis are confident that Krishna can get that quality service in Mathura or Dwaraka, they would allow Krishna to go there, and they would allow all the Mathuravasis and Dwarkavasis to render service to Krishna eternally. But the gopis are completely aware that no one in the entire cosmic manifestation can render service to Krishna like the gopis do. And the gopis always wanted Krishna to get the best quality service. These people don't know how to cook. How will they feed Krishna? Krishna will have to remain hungry. These people don't know how to decorate themselves properly to give pleasure to Krishna's eyes. Only gopis know how to decorate themselves properly. Damini, Vanatini, whatever they put on their bodies, it's not that for their decoration. So these girls are not so obsessed with beautifying themselves. They are obsessed with the desire to give happiness to Krishna by their beautiful decoration. So in this way, all the gopis of Vrindavan were thinking that Krishna will be deprived of the best quality service. That's why they are in feelings of separation. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is imbibing, is experiencing all these moods of the gopis. So throughout the night, all these gopis were gathering in small groups, and they were hoping that somebody will intervene and stop Krishna. Nobody stopped. And they sang their Viraha Gita. In that they were calling Akrura as Krura. He is cruel person, his quality and his name are not matching. Okay, he's really cruel. Otherwise, he's without saying sorry, without pacifying us, without consoling us, without informing us, he's taking our life away from Vrindavan. What kind of person he is? And later they say, why blame Akrura? It is Krishna's fault. Krishna is expert in making friendships with some people and breaking friendships with those people after some time. And he starts making new friendships. It's Krishna's unsteady mind, fickle mind. What can Akrura do? Our providence is not favorable to us. So like that they keep on singing that Gauranga Gita. And by the morning, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti with piteous faces, with tears in their eyes, all these gopis come out of their houses and they just break all the social customs, break all the Vedic regulations and family ties and come on the road and they block the way of Krishna's chariot, Akrura's chariot. Akrura, if you want to take Krishna to Mathura, take your chariot over our dead bodies. Some gopis lie down on the road. And some gopis caught the horses of Akrura's chariot and not allowing them to move. And some gopis caught the chariot wheels, not allowing the wheels to move. And some gopis caught the driver and pulled him down and started beating him. And some gopis caught Balaramji. Some gopis caught Krishna. Please don't go. They were requesting with piteous eyes, with tears in their eyes. So then we see that Krishna says, I'll come back soon. With his glances, he pacifies the gopis and somehow he leaves. Another thing happened. In the previous night, as the gopis were lamenting, Krishna understands, I can make a common announcement to all the other Brajavasis, but I have to individually meet all these gopis to pacify them, console them. So Krishna expanded himself into innumerable forms, as many as there are a number of Madhurya gopis. He went to each and every individual gopi and he told, and especially Radharani. Radharani's face was filled with tears. She says, I will give up my life. Without you, why should I live? And Krishna says, please don't say that, Radharani. Very elaborate description. So he says, I will come every month to meet you once. And I can compromise on my own vow. But I cannot compromise on my devotees' words. Okay. You and Sudama had some quarrel in the spiritual world. And you cursed him to become a demon. So he became Shankachoda. And he cursed you to experience separation from me for 100 years. You will have to experience that. Okay. So to honor his words and to honor your words, I am going to Mathura now. And I have so many responsibilities of killing Kamsa and many other people, many other demons, and reducing the burden of the earth. But I will come to you and associate with you, give my association to you. So like that, Krishna pacified Radharani and promised. And then finally, they said, okay. So now, when the whole event of Krishna's going from Vrindavan to Mathura is very elaborately described in several scriptures like Garga Samhita and other places. So Mahaprabhu is constantly experiencing that separation. So love is experienced in meeting and separation, two things. Okay. So Mahaprabhu is prominently experiencing feelings of separation like Radharani, like the gopis did. So then at this stage, Advaitacharya has, here is the chariot. So Krishna is going on Akrura's chariot and gopis were just crying. And Mahaprabhu, in their mood, he is crying. So now Krishna just left. As Krishna, Mahaprabhu left. Now as Krishna left to Mathura. As Mahaprabhu, Krishna is empathizing with the gopis and experiencing their emotions. Right? And Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Goswami both were trying to pacify him with relevant shlokas. Okay. Then Advaitacharya sends a cryptic letter to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu through Jagadananda Pandit. Jagadananda Pandit goes to Bengal every year, meets Sachi Mata, and then he comes back after some time, and this time he got a letter. So that cryptic letter Mahaprabhu read and he understood. But others did not understand much. So now since Mahaprabhu read the cryptic letter, basically the cryptic letter indicated that Mahaprabhu has to wind up his pastimes very soon. It was Advaitacharya who called Mahaprabhu to descend. And it is that same Advaitacharya who is indicating that he should wind up his pastimes. Okay. So then from that day on, Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation increased so much. Okay. And especially he entered the mood of the gopis when Krishna was departing to Mathura. That I already described very elaborately right now. And Mahaprabhu exhibited the feelings of madness called Udghurna. So these are all very special terminologies which you can see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or other esoteric books. I don't know much about these terminologies also. So throughout the night, Mahaprabhu would be awake chanting the holy names, and Mahaprabhu would even rub his face against the walls, and he would bleed, his face would bleed, and devotees would come and see, Mahaprabhu, what did you do? Why did you do this to yourself? Then they kept Shankar Pandit to take care of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, he is his caretaker, and he would not allow Mahaprabhu to go outside. So at the doorstep, Govinda and Swarupa Damodar, both of them would be staying. Inside the Gambhira room, Mahaprabhu would stay, keeping his feet on the body of Shankar Pandit. So then Shankar Pandit would massage Mahaprabhu, and then he would take care of Mahaprabhu. And at times, Shankar Pandit, because he's very tired, he goes to sleep without any cloth on his body. So Mahaprabhu would get up, and then he would put a cloth on his body, means like some kind of covering on his body. So in this way, Mahaprabhu served Shankar Pandit. And Shankar Pandit, of course, he also served. So like that, Shankar Pandit was guarding, and Mahaprabhu could not go out because Shankar Pandit was there, right? So then on Vaishakha Purnima, entering into Jagannath Vallabh garden, Mahaprabhu saw Krishna beneath an Ashoka tree. There is a picture here. So Krishna smiled and disappeared. So Krishna's bodily scent caught Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and hoping to get that scent again and again, Mahaprabhu was just running like a deer runs for musk. So Srila Damodar Goswami and Ramananda devised a plan to bring Mahaprabhu to external consciousness, and they brought him by chanting Sankirtan. In the last chapter of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, the Sikshashtaka prayers. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu sings Sikshashtakam prayers. He relished them and he taught them. So the only desire of Srimati Radharani and the gopis is to act in whatever way that gives pleasure to Krishna. So now you know the shlokas, but the meanings that are present in Caitanya Charitamrita are really amazing. So I would suggest that you can go through the elaborate shlokas, at least some 60 shlokas elaborately describe Chaitanya, the Sikshashtakam. So Chaitanya Marjanam, the importance of Nam Sankirtan and the 7 effects of chanting are described in this shloka. Then second shloka, Nam Akari Bahudani Sarva Shakti. So our weakness and inability and lack of taste to engage in the process of chanting is described in the second shloka. And the proper mood or disposition to effectively chant the holy names of Krishna always, that is described in third shloka. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtane Satahari. Then in the fourth shloka, Nadhanam Najanam Nasundari, that eliminates all the material desires. Then fifth shloka, Ainandatanuja Kinkaram. So in that shloka, the theme is to awaken one's real spiritual identity. That's described. Then sixth shloka, Nayanam Galadhashtu Dharaya Vadanam Gadgadabdhaya, the experience of good fortune by coming in contact with God. The Yugayitam Nimeshena, the intense separation that a devotee feels for Krishna in his absence is described. Even one moment of separation appears like several yugas. Then finally, eighth shloka, Ashlishya Vapadartam Vinashtumam, the highest perfection and ultimate goal is to just maintain love for Krishna whatever way Krishna might treat us. So that's the theme there in the last shloka. Then Kaviraj Goswami describes his whole inspiration and empowerment that he received to write Caitanya-caritamrita. After concluding the teachings of Lord Caitanya, final teachings of Lord Caitanya, Kaviraj Goswami writes this. He humbly expresses his inability to describe the unlimited pastimes of Mahaprabhu. He glorifies Chaitanya Bhagavad written by Radhanath Thakur again at the end of the book also. And he says, Vruddha Jaratura Amiyandha Badhira Hastahali Manobuddhi Nahi Morasthira. So, Vruddha, I am very old. Jaratura, I am affected by Jara means old age. Ami Andha Badhira, I am blind also. I mean, I am unable to see properly. And Hasta Jale, Hasta Hale means my hand is shaking while I am writing. Mano Buddhi Nahe Morasthira. My mind and my intelligence are not very steady. So if all this is true, he wrote at least 11,600 verses of Caitanya Charitamrita. So if he was little younger, how much he would have written, how elaborately he would have written. So then he gives a synopsis of Antya lila that completes Sri Caitanya Charitamrita and our Caitanya Pravaha course. And in this Caitanya Charitamrita, there are 62 chapters. So in the Adi Lila, that has 17 chapters, we have seen Kaviraj Goswami giving a 14 shloka Mangalacharan, and these 14 shlokas he elaborately describes in 7 chapters. So the first 6 shlokas describe Chaitanya Tattva, the next 5 shlokas describe Nityananda Tattva, next 2 shlokas describe Advaita Tattva, and 1 shloka describes Panchatattva. So in the first chapter of Adi Lila, Kaviraj Goswami elaborately explains the meaning of the first 2 shlokas. Right? That is Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan and also Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodhara. Then in the second chapter, he describes the Vastu Nirdesh of the book, how Mahaprabhu is the objective of this book. In the third chapter, he describes the external reasons for Mahaprabhu's descent. 4th chapter, internal reasons for Mahaprabhu's descent. 5th chapter, Nityananda Tattva. 6th chapter, Advaita Tattva. 7th chapter, Panchatattva. So thus the first 7 chapters of Adi Lila completely describes the philosophical basis or foundation of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Further, we see that in the 8th chapter and 9th chapter, Mahaprabhu, Kaviraj Goswami describes his inspiration behind compiling Caitanya Charitamrita, and in the 9th chapter, he describes the whole, all the associates of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to be parts of a tree of love of Godhead that is called Bhaktivedanta or Krishna Premamrita Taru. Krishna Prema Amarataru. So the immortal tree of Krishna Prema. And the tree is Lord Caitanya. And Mahaprabhu is the gardener of the tree. And Mahaprabhu is the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. Mahaprabhu is the distributor of fruits also. So 10th, 11th and 12th chapters describe the names of several devotees in Caitanya Lila who are conceived to be the branches and sub-branches and the leaves and twigs of this big Chaitanya tree. That's first 12 chapters of Adi Lila. Then 13 to 17 chapters we see the Adi Lila, real Adi Lila, where Mahaprabhu's pastimes in his first 24 years are described. So now 13th chapter describes Mahaprabhu's appearance, 14th chapter Bali Lila, 15th chapter Paukanda Lila, 16th chapter Kaishwara Lila, and 17th chapter Yavana Lila, up to Sannyas. So that is Adi Lila. Then Kaviraj Goswami gets a doubt. Will I survive to completely describe Mahaprabhu's pastimes? I am very old. So he gives a synopsis of entire Madhya Lila in the first chapter of Madhya Lila. And he gives an entire synopsis of Antya Lila in the second chapter of Madhya Lila. Then from the 3rd chapter, he continues from where he left in Adi Lila. So 3rd chapter described Mahaprabhu's attempt to go to Vrindavan, but Nityananda Prabhu directs him to Shantipur. Then Sachimata decides you should go to Jagannath Puri. Then Mahaprabhu goes to Jagannath. So on his travel, during his travel, he went to Madhavendra Puri temple, Ramana temple, and he spoke the story of Madhavendra Puri. That is 4th chapter. 5th chapter, he describes Sakshi Gopal pastime. Means Nityananda Prabhu describes Sakshi Gopal pastime, and Mahaprabhu hears them. Then Mahaprabhu goes to Jagannath Puri in the 6th chapter. And he transforms Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in the 6th chapter. In 7th chapter, Mahaprabhu commences his South India Yatra. 8th chapter is also part of South India Yatra, where Mahaprabhu discusses with our Ramananda. Then 9th chapter elaborately describes various places visited by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in South India Yatra. Then 10th chapter, Mahaprabhu comes back from South India Yatra to Jagannath Puri, and all the devotees from various places would come and meet Mahaprabhu there. Then 11th chapter, the Bengal devotees come to Jagannath Puri, and Mahaprabhu performs Veda Kirtan pastimes with them. 12th chapter, Gundicha March. 13th chapter, Rath Yatra. 14th chapter, post Rath Yatra pastimes. While Jagannath ji is staying in Gundicha temple, Mahaprabhu did so many pastimes, Vrindavan pastimes. Okay, so that is 14th chapter. 15th chapter, Mahaprabhu wants to go to Vrindavan, but devotees just stop him, and they make him stay back in Jagannath Puri. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya invites Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to his house and feeds him, and Namoga episode happens in 15th chapter. Now 16th chapter, Mahaprabhu goes to Vrindavan. He tries to go to Vrindavan second time, but he goes up to Ramkeli and comes back because so many people are following him. Then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu actually goes to Vrindavan in the 17th chapter. 17th and 18th chapters are dedicated to describing Mahaprabhu's entire Vrindavan Yatra. The 19th chapter, Mahaprabhu comes out of Vrindavan and comes to Prayag. At Prayag, Rupa Goswami comes and meets him, and Mahaprabhu gives him his teachings. Then 20th chapter, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Varanasi, and Sanatana Goswami comes to him and then takes his teachings. So 20th chapter and 21st chapter describe Sambandha Tattva. All the incarnations of Krishna are described in 20th chapter, and the opulence and sweetness of Krishna is described in 21st chapter. 2021 is Sambandha Tattva as a part of Sanatana's teachings. Then 22nd chapter is Abhideya Tattva, the whole process of devotional service. 23rd chapter is Prayojana Tattva, love of God. So that completes teachings to Sanatana Goswami. But in the 24th chapter, Sanatana Goswami says, "Oh Lord, I want to know different explanations of Atmarama verse from you." Then Mahaprabhu describes Atmarama verse in 61 ways. That is 24th chapter. And in the 25th chapter, Mahaprabhu transforms Prakashananda Saraswati and other Mayavadi sannyasis, and then he departs from Varanasi. He goes to Jagannath. That completes Madhya Lila. Then Antya Lila describes the last 18 years of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So Adi Lila, first 24 years. Madhya Lila, 6 years. And Antya Lila, 18 more years. So in Antya Lila, we see Mahaprabhu's interactions with several devotees. And the first chapter, Mahaprabhu's interactions with Rupa Goswami, who comes to Jagannath. Second chapter, Chota Haridas. Third chapter, Haridas Thakur. Fourth chapter, Sanatana Goswami comes to Jagannath. Fifth chapter, Mahaprabhu glorifies Ramananda Rai by sending Pradyumna Mishra to hear from him. And also, Swarupdamodar Goswami chastises and encourages a Bengali poet. Then, sixth chapter, Radhanath Das Goswami episode, very elaborate. Seventh chapter, Vallabh Bhatta. Eighth chapter, Ramachandra Puri. Ninth chapter, Gopinath Patna. 10th chapter, Mahaprabhu eating prasadam. Govinda is the hero there. So Govinda serves Lord Caitanya. Then 11th chapter, Jagadananda Pandit. 12th chapter also. 11th chapter is Mahaprabhu celebrating this Haridas Thakur's disappearance. Haridas Thakur's disappearance. Then 12th chapter is this Jagadananda Pandit. 13th also Jagadananda Pandit and also Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Then 14th chapter onwards we have seen Mahaprabhu's various ecstatic pastimes in the mode of Srimati Radharani and other gopis. 20th chapter, Krishnaష్టami. This is a quick summary of entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. So thank you so much. I thank each and every one of the devotees who have assembled here in this Caitanya Pravaha course. In the last 9 weeks, in 18 sessions, you have been in the course very patiently, listening. So I'm very happy. And to conclude this course on the auspicious Rath Yatra day, and interestingly, today morning we started Chaitanya Charitamrita course in GEV, right? So today I started one course and I'm ending another course. My day began with giving the Adilila first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. My day is ending with speaking the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very auspicious day, Rath Yatra day. So I really thank each and every one of the devotees here who gave your kind association and participation here. So thank you so much. And I beg forgiveness from all of you for any inconsistencies in the presentation. Actually, I'm not very well aware of Chaitanya Charitamrita. I read only CC. I didn't read many other associating books of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes or Gopi's pastimes, Goswami's pastimes. So, and also it's a very vast literature with multiple shlokas quoted from different scriptures, and also to keep track of so many multitudes of conversations and personalities. This is also very difficult. That's why I was making my notes and eventually worked on Caitanya Subodhini. So that's also my attempt to keep track of what's happening there. Still, I keep forgetting things. So if there are any discrepancies, you're not very happy with the way I presented, I'm really sorry. I see many exalted devotees and experienced devotees are also around. So please forgive my mistakes. And also I request your blessings and prayers for my continued efforts in improving my own consciousness by serving Krishna and the devotee community. So, and also I beg forgiveness, especially for the transmission losses because of the transcendental internet and Wi-Fi arrangements in GEV, and our climatic conditions are also little erratic. So we keep internet issues are also there. So thank you so much for patiently being with us. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.